continuation, kind of like part 2. Top U.S. Catholic Church officials resign after cell phone data used to track him on Grindr and to gay bars. So, guys, he resigned. The prominent priest Jeffrey Burrell, Monsignor Jeffrey Burrell, top administration of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, resigned after a Catholic media site told the conference it had access to cell phone data that appeared to show he was a regular user of Grindr, the queer dating app, and frequented gay bars. Now, y'all, that's not me. That's this article. Monsignor Jeffrey Burrell has since last fall been General Secretary of the USCCB. That's where you can find all of your truth as a Hebrew Israelite and then some, above and beyond all that you can think and imagine, is exceedingly abundantly above the Bible and what we have in it, okay? But a position that coordinates all administrative work and planning for the conference, which is the country's network for Catholic bishops. And I told you in that last video what the Kojic be doing at their conferences, and now what the Catholics are doing at theirs, honey. So, as a priest, he takes a vow of celibacy. Does he? Obviously, he don't. If he caught on Grindr, I wouldn't help. If he was caught on a dating game, if he was caught on ChristianMingle.com, it don't matter. If these people took a vow of celibacy, then live up to it, or, as they say in Christianity, you missed the mark. You got to let it go. Leave it alone. You're falling short of the glory of God. Is there any hope for these people? Not according to Romans chapter 1. Catholic teachers opposes sexual activity outside heterosexual marriage. So why don't they vow to get with a woman? It's the curse of God on these people according to Romans chapter 1. God says, since you want to take my word and pervert it, Paul, in the Romans, I'm going to turn you into what is known as a reprobate mind, loving only those things that's unseemly right for the body, only having love one toward another, that's man toward man, with that burning desire in their heart for a man and not for a woman. Paul says in that Bible, Christians, don't he say it's better to marry than to burn? These people like to burn in their flesh, okay? Burrell was not immediately available for comment, but it goes on to say, the National Catholic Reporter was the first to report Tuesday morning that Burrell had resigned, citing a memo from Archbishop Jose Gomez, the USCCB president, to other bishops. I don't care. I don't care, y'all. This is light. This is darkness at its best. This is what we need to be letting the world know is going on in our community with these so-called people who have the truth of God and don't want to do anything with it but keep it from the people who needs it the most, according to Romans chapter 1. Burrell is the priest. He's a priest from the La Crosse, Wisconsin diocese, and was a parish priest and a professor before joining the administrative staff of the USCCB in 2016. Some USCCB staff and former staff said they were reeling in shock. Reeling, honey. REELING. Reeling. I bet they was reeling in all these lies he been telling them, and they couldn't believe it. And oh my God, we've been sitting next to him. Who is this guy? Oh, he's the Catholic. I hope he wasn't over no youth programs and things of that nature at the conference, right? The USCCB spokeswoman Cheiko Noguchi told the Washington Post on Tuesday afternoon it was Burrell's decision to resign. I bet it was. So now he can really get it on and popping on Grindr. He can live his life. Dude done met him a husband, honey. Let me tell you. He done already decided. I'm leaving the council. I'd rather go be free than be locked up in this Vatican all my life. Vowing not to have a wife, a man, nothing. Y'all crazy. Let me out of this Vatican. I got to go sow my wild oats. Lord have mercy. So it goes on to say, and came after allegations of his improper behavior. Why isn't it just a sin? Anybody else doing this over the church, in the church, under the church, espoused to the church, it's a sin when you have sexual immoralities. But when it comes to the sinners themselves, the ones who gave you sin, right, in Christianity, they don't live up to this nonsense. So anyway, it goes on to say, quote, however, to avoid becoming a distraction to the operations and ongoing work of the conference, Mink Senior has resigned effective immediately, end quote, because he want to get it on and popping. He done met somebody. He like, I'd rather just go ahead and lay it all on the line. The conference takes all allegations of misconduct seriously and will pursue all appropriate steps to address them. Now, let me go ahead and stop here and interject with another conversation because that's a bold-faced lie, y'all. There is another story I'm about to share with you. In the last video, I said I was going to try to find some information about why Catholics like little boys. There's really no research on that, but history and legend and wives' fables, tales, and all that other stuff, mythology says the reason why they didn't vow to have a woman is a curse on Romans 1, but also they like the little boys because they renew their youth. They're not like most people who wait on the Lord so he can renew their strength, right, and their youth. No, these people are out here relying on the youth and the strength of the young boys and whatever gratification they get from that as sick people, right? So the other video, the other content I want to share with you guys is as follows. I'll read to you a small paragraph here, and then I'm going to take you to the top of the article. So the report revealed that this abuse was made possible by a widespread, systematic cover-up from church leaders and other clergy. Instead of contacting law enforcement about allegations of this story here, senior church officials and bishops quietly reshuffled offending priests, typically putting them in positions where they would continue to have close contact with a new set of children. You hear this? The highest profile figure accused in participating in such a cover-up is Donald Wuerl, W-U-E-R-L, Wuerl, the current Archbishop of Washington, D.C. Now let's scroll up and see what this video is actually talking about. The decades-long Catholic priest's child sex abuse crisis explained. Why would it be a 2,000-year mystery of the church that these people would freaking be out here messing with the little boys? Decades-long abuse, cover-up. It has to be something in their sick minds that says messing with these little boys is the answer. Other than the fact that God says you're going to love one another. He didn't say children, but they took it upon themselves to mess with the children. He said one another as men. But this is what these sick-minded, reprobate people do. Reprobate-minded people do. So this article is by Tara Isabella Burton. It was written September 4th, 2018, y'all. His story was one of thousands. Quote, it happened in the wee hours of the morning, a Pennsylvania man wrote in a letter to the Diocese of Pittsburgh in 2008, describing the moment he tried to take his own life. He spent the night drinking heavily, which my doctors have explained may have included an inescapable episodic flashback of sexual abuse, which has haunted me over the years. His alleged abuser, Reverend Richard Dorsch, was his childhood priest in Pittsburgh. The events he recalled took place throughout his childhood. According to the letter, Dorsch forced his victim, whose name has not been made public, to sexually stimulate him repeatedly, ignoring the child's objections. Here we have it at its finest, y'all. This is the wickedest entity in the world. Wickedness seated in high places. The diocese settled with the man quietly after his suicide attempt, paying for his mental health care. But something happened in 2010. Payments abruptly stopped, y'all. What's up with the richest entity in the world? They don't want to pay its victims off? They feel like they can do this and get away with it, people. Why haven't we shut the doors on this? Well, 2 months later, the victim attempted suicide again. That time, he succeeded, y'all. All because of the Catholic Church, who tells lies that they try to get this under control and deal with it immediately, when you just heard out of this report right here that they are the biggest cover-up, scammers, deceivers, manipulators, abusers of children and of men, and don't want a damn thing to do with a woman. They're not about procreation. They're not about life. It take a woman to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And what does these son of a bees do? Take life. As the devils they are. Now, with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put the links down below. You guys go ahead, check all these articles out. Do your own research about the Vatican and the history of the Catholic Church, and the Romans. They're all synonymous and one of each other, equal, all right? And Christians, these are these threefold cords that's not easily broken, okay? So you got to learn to begin to break these generational curses that have affected us all as well. They're surely not going to try to break these generational curses. They actually like the generational curses. Especially that one in Romans 1 and 8, where God says, unseemly, unnatural, unaffectual, unaffectionate, lusters and lovers of their own selves and toward one another. They find not the woman's use of her body of any interest. Go read chapter 1 yourself. And with that being said, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Like, comment, share, subscribe, y'all. Give your girl some love over here. And by the way, go over to my community page and have fun with those polls over there. I'm getting some good responses, and I enjoy reading y'all comments and knowing who you are. That not that I know who you are answering the polls, but it's just the feel in the spirit to know that there's other people out there that may love the law of God, or they may love the law of the faith of Jesus, or they may sacrifice animal blood to their God, or they may sacrifice human blood to their God. There's people out there that love the God of the living. There's people out there that love the God of the dead. The Bible talks about both of them, y'all. So right there in the Bible, you can see some like the holy days of the Bible, some like the holidays of the world. And we just saw on Thanksgiving about 5 people lost their lives. Even a 5-year-old at the hand of a 3-year-old pulling a gun. Even a mother at the hand of her 18-year-old son pulling a gun. Even a 13-year-old took the life of a 5-year-old at the hands of a gun, y'all. So with that being said, this is where the wickedness stems from, right here. If this entity ain't no good and not of God, any other entity it ordained in the earth or gave permission to exist as a church or a stamp of approval. It's just as wicked as this entity. And with that being said, shalom, y'all. I don't know the guy's name, but the report and its fallout came during the summer of turmoil of the Catholic Church. First, there was the May revelation that Cardinal George Pell, among the highest-ranking members of the Vatican, faced charges of child sex abuse from decades ago in his native Australia. Then there was the ousting of Father Theodore McCarrick, formerly an Archbishop of Washington, D.C., who allegedly committed sexual harassment and abuse against junior seminarians under his authority, as well as against two minors. Now, parents, I don't know about y'all. But y'all got to do a little bit better than this, trusting these people with your children. 300 abusers and over 1,000 victims documented in 1,400 pages of stories, no less harrowing than the one above. Most of them probably led to suicide as well. These are just the latest figures in a decade-long crisis. This ain't no crisis. This is wickedness. Seated in high places, taking advantage of the people, whose full extent may never be known. What has made these stories possible and what has prevented them in many cases from being told until now is much wider story of an institution that has, over decades, repeatedly chosen secrecy and bureaucracy over transparency and accountability. And that's all I'm asking, is to make the government, the Vatican, and Buckingham Palace be accountable and transparent from this point going forward. We have enough information that's been exposed on these three entities as it is, who walks in secrecy and bureaucracy, right? It is the story of the institution that has not only failed to protect children from abusers, they shouldn't even be allowed to be around children at this point, but has systematically allowed the abuse to continue, often with impunity, and has contributed to the victim's suffering by repeatedly failing to contend with and take responsibility for its history. In 2002, the American Catholic Church, to say nothing of the church globally, has been contending with the sheer catastrophic scope and scale of the crisis. This ain't no damn crisis. How the hell you abusing boys is a crisis? It's a sick choice. Demonic choice. We know about the thousands of cases of child sex abuse already. It is likely like thousands more are yet to emerge. Are y'all hearing this? And last but not least, and while efforts taken by the Catholic Church in recent years have significantly reduced abuse since 2002, the fundamental problem remains. There is little to no centralized effort to document, publicize, or take accountability of the decades of systemic child abuse in the church. Now they ass to the cross like they did Jesus. And with that being said, I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.